Ethan had always loved the stars. Every night, he would stand on the edge of the colony platform on Lyra 9, gazing at the endless expanse of the galaxy. Humans had settled on this remote planet only 10 years ago, but already, life here was difficult. The rocky terrain made mining necessary metals dangerous, and storms swept across the surface without warning. Still, Ethan felt alive in this harsh environment, and he liked knowing that humans could adapt anywhere. That day had started like any other. Ethan was in the mining fields, checking the new drills that had been installed in the northern sector. The sun of Lyra 9 was just rising, painting the jagged mountains in orange and gold. The air was thin, and every breath reminded him how fragile life here was. "Ethan, we need you at Drill 7, shouted Marcus, his supervisor, over the radio. "It's acting up again." Ethan wiped the sweat from his brow and sprinted toward the drill site. The ground was uneven, and every step made small rocks tumble down the slopes. When he arrived, he saw sparks flying from the machinery. Something had jammed deep inside, and the drill was shaking violently. He climbed onto the control platform, heart pounding, and began working to release the blockage. Suddenly, the ground trembled. It was a low, deep vibration, but growing fast. Ethan froze. Then the tremor turned into a violent shake. The platform began to crack beneath him. Rocks tumbled from above, hitting the machinery. In the chaos, the drill collapsed, and the entire area seemed to cave in. Ethan tried to move, but a massive slab of rock fell and pinned him to the ground. Dust filled his lungs, and panic rose in his chest. He screamed for help, but the mining colony's emergency systems were failing. The radio crackled with static. No one could hear him. As darkness started creeping into his vision, a strange hum filled the air. At first, it was soft, almost melodic, but it grew louder, vibrating through the ground and rocks. Then, the sky split with a blinding light. A ship unlike anything Ethan had ever seen hovered above the disaster site. It was sleek and silver, shaped like a crescent moon, with shimmering panels that seemed to ripple like water. Energy beams shot from the bottom, gently lifting the broken rocks away from him. Ethan could barely breathe as the weight on his chest eased. A hatch opened, and a figure appeared. Ethan blinked, unable to believe what he saw. She was tall, with skin that shimmered faintly in silver and blue tones. Her eyes glowed softly, intelligent and kind, yet filled with authority. Her presence was commanding, but somehow comforting. She wore a uniform unlike anything he had seen on human colonies, and a small emblem glowed on her chest. "Hold still," the figure said, her voice calm and melodic, though he did not understand the language fully at first. Then, with a gesture, the rocks shifted, and he could breathe freely. In a flash, a beam lifted him into the ship. Ethan's mind raced. Was he dreaming? Aliens weren't supposed to exist outside of stories. But here she was, standing in front of him, saving his life. The ship moved faster than he could comprehend. The ground of Lyra 9 disappeared below them, as stars streaked past the windows. He held onto the edge of the transport panel, his heart hammering. Who are you?" he managed to ask. "I am Captain Sirali," she said, now speaking perfect English. Her voice was smooth, calm, and confident. "You were in danger. My ship detected your life signs failing. You would not have survived." Ethan swallowed hard. "Why? Why are you helping me? I'm just human." Sirali looked at him with something like curiosity and respect. "Humans are unusual," she said. "Your species is fragile in some ways, but resilient in others. You survive where others might fail. That quality is worth protecting." Ethan tried to speak, but his mind was spinning. The ship's interior was amazing. Lights flowed along the walls like liquid, and controls floated in the air. Responding to her gestures, he could see the stars moving past them, a galaxy stretching endlessly in every direction. As he regained his strength, he noticed a soft glow around his body. Sorali had moved her hands over him, and he could feel warmth spreading through his chest. What is this?" he asked. "It is a bond," she said. Her eyes were serious now. "By saving you, I have connected your life to mine. You are now bound to me in a way that cannot be undone. If either of us suffers, the other will feel it. This is part of my species' way of protecting those who are chosen to survive." Ethan's stomach dropped. "Bound? To you? Forever?" "Yes," she replied simply. "This is not a choice once made. You are part of my journey now, as I am part of yours." Panic mixed with awe in Ethan's mind. He wanted to ask 100 questions, but the words refused to come. Instead, he looked out the window and saw Lyra 9 shrinking into the distance. The colony, the mountains, the small humans who had been working with him, it was all gone in a blink. His life on the planet was over. Sorali noticed his hesitation. "Do not be afraid," she said gently. "This bond is not punishment. It is protection. Together, we can face dangers you cannot imagine." Ethan nodded slowly. He wanted to believe her, but fear was still heavy in his chest. I don't know if I can do this," he whispered. "You can," she replied firmly. "You have already survived what no human could endure. That is proof of your courage." The ship shifted direction suddenly, heading into a nebula glowing with red and purple clouds. The stars outside became hazy, and Ethan felt the gravity of space in a way he had never experienced. Where are we going?" he asked. "To a safe location," Sorali said. "There, you will recover, and I will explain more about our journey. You need rest. Your body is weak, but your mind must remain alert." Ethan tried to process everything. He was still in shock, but slowly, curiosity began to replace some of his fear. Who was this woman? How did her ship move through space so effortlessly? And what did it mean to be bound to someone whose life and destiny were so intertwined with his own? He closed his eyes for a moment, letting the gentle hum of the ship wash over him. Despite the fear, he felt something strange. Safety. It was not the safety of familiar walls or human companions. It was a different kind of safety. A knowledge that he had been chosen to survive for a reason he did not yet understand. When he opened his eyes again, Sorali was watching him. "You will need to learn quickly," she said. "The universe is vast and dangerous. You are no longer just a human on a small colony. You are connected to me, and that connection carries responsibility. But it also carries opportunity. You will see the strength of your own species in ways you never imagined." Ethan nodded again, more determined now. I'll try," he said, his voice firming with resolve. "I'll survive. For you. And for me." Sorali's lips curved into a small, approving smile. "Good. That is all I ask for now." The ship glided silently through the nebula, and Ethan watched the stars and clouds swirl around them. For the first time in his life, he felt the thrill of being part of something much larger than himself. He did not know what awaited him, or what dangers lurked in the galaxy. But he knew one thing for certain. His life had changed forever, the moment Captain Sorali had saved him. As the hours passed, Ethan began to notice small things about Sorali. Her calm movements, her careful attention to the ship's systems, and the way she watched the stars, as if she could read their secrets. Something told him that she had faced dangers far greater than anything he could imagine. And yet, she had chosen to save him. A fragile human. That thought stayed with him as sleep finally overcame his exhaustion. In his dreams, he saw stars stretching endlessly, strange worlds filled with alien creatures, and a silver figure who always stood beside him, guiding him. He woke with a start, feeling the bond again warm, steady, undeniable. Ethan knew he could never return to Lyra 9 as he had been. His life, his future, and even his identity were now entwined with Captain Sorali. Fear, wonder, and excitement mingled in his heart. He did not know where the galaxy would take him next, but one thing was certain. He had survived for a reason, and that reason was only beginning to reveal itself. The adventure of a lifetime had begun. Ethan awoke to the gentle hum of the alien ship. The light inside was soft and calming, and for the first time since the accident, he felt a sense of security. He sat up slowly, still feeling the strange warmth of the bond with Captain Sirali. The connection was subtle but undeniable. He could sense her presence, her attention, even her emotions. Though he did not fully understand it, Sirali was nearby, monitoring the ship's systems. Her movements were precise and graceful, her focus absolute. She turned to him and smiled faintly, though her expression carried authority. "You are awake," she said. "Good. You need nourishment and rest to recover fully. There is much to learn." Ethan nodded. I still don't understand this bond. How does it work?" Sirali walked closer, her silver blue skin shimmering softly. "It is a life connection. When I saved you, our life forces became linked. You will feel my pain if I am harmed, and I will feel yours. It is not just survival, it is mutual trust. You are bound to me, and in return, I am bound to you." Ethan swallowed hard. The idea was overwhelming. "So, I can't go back to my life on Lyra 9? "Not as it was," Sirali said gently. "Your life is now part of a larger path. You are human, and your instincts, courage, and adaptability are valuable. But you will face challenges you could not face alone. That is why the bond exists." Adi mated. Ethan looked out the viewport. The galaxy stretched endlessly before him. Stars, planets, and nebulae moved past as the ship traveled faster than any human technology he had ever known. He felt small and fragile in the vastness of space, yet part of him also felt alive in a way he had never imagined. "Why me?" he asked quietly. "Why did you save me? There are thousands of humans on Lyra 9. Sirali's eyes softened. "Because humans have something rare. Courage, ingenuity, hope. Even in desperate situations, you find a way to survive. I have seen it before. But you demonstrated it at the exact moment it mattered. That is why your survival is important." Ethan tried to process her words. It was strange to hear a species so advanced admire humans. Yet, he realized that she was right. Humans were not the strongest, or the fastest, but they could adapt, think quickly, and find solutions in impossible situations. That thought gave him a small spark of pride. Before he could say anything more, the ship's alarm system emitted a soft tone. A holographic display appeared in front of Sirali, showing multiple red blips moving through space. She studied them carefully. "We are being followed," she said. Her voice was calm, but her eyes narrowed slightly. Ethan felt a rush of adrenaline. "By who?" he asked. "Pirates," she replied. "Dangerous ones. They track ships with valuable cargo or unusual life forms. We are unusual now, because you are aboard. Their interest may not be in the ship itself, but in you." Ethan's heart pounded. "In me? Why?" Sirali shook her head. "Because humans are rare in deep space. They are fragile, yet resilient. To the wrong eyes, you are a prize. But do not worry, I will protect you." For the next hours, Ethan watched as Sirali maneuvered the ship through asteroid fields and space debris, avoiding sensors and weapons. Her skills were incredible. He had never seen anyone control a ship like this. Every movement was precise, every decision calculated. Despite the danger, he could not help but admire her. "You're amazing," he said quietly. Sirali glanced at him briefly. "You will learn. Humans can be clever in ways my species often underestimates. That is why you are valuable. I will teach you, if you are willing." Ethan nodded. "I want to learn. I want to help." A faint smile appeared on Sirali's lips. "Good. Courage is not enough. Understanding and skill are equally important. And you, human, have the courage to try. As the hours passed, Sirali explained the basics of the ship's operations. Ethan listened carefully, absorbing every detail. The ship was powered by energy far beyond human technology. It could shift through dimensions, avoid detection, and travel faster than light. Every system was designed with intelligence, elegance, and efficiency. Yet, Sirali emphasized that the most important system was not the ship itself, it was the crew. "You and I are the crew now," she said. "The bond between us allows the ship to function at its highest capacity. Your instincts, your decisions, even your emotions, influence the ship in ways you may not understand yet." Ethan realized the truth of her words. He had felt the ship respond to him during their earlier maneuvers. His heart had raced, and somehow the ship had moved as if it knew his intentions. He glanced at Sirali. "So, I'm not just a passenger?" "No," she replied. "You are a partner, a human partner, and one day, your instincts may save us both." Night passed, or what counted as night, aboard the ship. Ethan slept, but the bond kept him aware of Sirali's presence. He could feel her calm focus, her steady heart, and the subtle tension when the ship approached unknown regions. When he awoke, he felt stronger, more alert, and more determined. Sirali led him to a viewing chamber, where the galaxy stretched endlessly. "Look out there," she said. "All of this is unexplored by humans. Dangerous, yes, but full of opportunity. You may be bound to me, Ethan, but this bond is not a cage. It is a chance to grow, to see what humans can achieve when they are not limited to one world." Ethan stared at the stars, feeling awe and fear in equal measure. "I never imagined anything like this," he said. "You will," Sirali replied, "and soon." Their conversation was interrupted by a soft alert. Red lights flashed across the ship's panels. Another group of ships had appeared, moving fast. Sirali's eyes narrowed. "Pirates," she muttered. "They have found us again. Prepare yourself." Ethan felt a surge of fear and excitement. This was the first real test of his connection to Sirali. The bond pulsed faintly, like a heartbeat he could feel in his chest. He could sense her focus, her strategy, even her concern. It was strange and powerful. "We need to act quickly," Sirali said. "You will follow my instructions. Trust your instincts." Ethan nodded. He could feel the truth in her words. His fear was strong, but he also felt determination. He was human, and humans had a way of rising to challenges. He could do this. As the ship moved into position, Ethan saw the beauty and danger of space side by side. Stars glimmered like diamonds, but the red ships of the pirates approached like predators. He felt Sirali's presence guiding him, steadying him, and he realized something incredible. The bond was not just a tether of life, it was a bridge of trust. "I can do this," he whispered to himself. "I can survive. I can help." Sirali glanced at him briefly. "Good. That is all I need to hear. Courage, and a willingness to act. The rest will follow." Good. For the first time since the accident, Ethan felt hope. He was no longer a fragile human on a distant colony. He was bound to a powerful ally, learning her ways, and seeing the galaxy with new eyes. The dangers ahead were real, but so was his growing confidence. The adventure had only just begun, and for the first time, Ethan understood what it meant to be part of something bigger than himself. Ethan's hands trembled slightly as he gripped the edge of the control panel. Outside, the red ships of the space marauders were closing in fast, their weapons glinting ominously against the stars. Captain Sirali remained calm, her eyes scanning the displays, her fingers moving across the controls with precision that made Ethan both nervous and amazed. "Ethan," she said, her voice steady but urgent. "We need to escape the pirate fleet. Follow my instructions exactly." Ethan nodded. He had learned to trust her guidance. But something deep inside told him that this time, He might have to act on his own. The pirates were fast. Too many to avoid by simple maneuvers. The ship's engines hummed, ready for evasive action. But Sirali's attention was momentarily divided by multiple incoming threats. The bond between them pulsed faintly. Ethan could feel her awareness brushing against his own thoughts. It was a strange and powerful sensation, as if their minds were lightly connected. And in that moment, inspiration struck him. "Captain," he called out, "if we can fly into the nebula ahead, its gas clouds might hide us. But the controls for navigating it are complex. I think I can help." Sirali turned her glowing eyes toward him. "Do you think you can handle it?" "I can try," Ethan said, determination rising in his chest. "Humans solve problems when there's no time to hesitate. Let me guide us through the nebula." Sirali studied him carefully. Then, she nodded. "Very well. I will follow your lead. Take control." Ethan's heart raced. He moved to the navigation panel and felt the energy of the ship flow beneath his hands. He had only basic experience with spacecraft controls, but the bond amplified his instincts. He sensed the ship's responses as if it were alive. And slowly, confidence replaced fear. "Align with the nebula," he instructed. "Slow approach. Then accelerate diagonally to avoid their sensors." The ship shuddered slightly, responding to his commands. Outside, the colorful gas clouds of the nebula loomed ahead, swirling like a living storm. Ethan felt sweat on his brow, but he focused, watching every reading, every flicker on the panel. The pirate ships were gaining ground. Red beams streaked across space, some striking dangerously close to the ship's hull. Ethan's mind raced. There was no room for error. He took a deep breath, letting the bond with Sirali guide him. He could sense her calm focus, her anticipation, and it steadied him. "Now," he said, full speed veering left. The ship shot forward, weaving through the thick clouds of the nebula. Light bent around them, and shadows of swirling gases threatened to crush them at every turn. Ethan's hands flew over the controls, combining instinct, observation, and quick calculations. The pirates fired, but the nebula's density made their targeting nearly useless. Sirali's eyes glimmered with admiration. "Impressive," she said softly. "You handle the ship as if it knows you." Ethan swallowed hard. "The bond. It helps. I can sense how you move, what you want. It's like we're connected." "Exactly," Sirali replied. "That connection is more than life, it is awareness. You are learning faster than I expected." "Continue." With each maneuver, the pirates struggled to follow. Ethan guided the ship deeper into the nebula, past glowing gas formations and jagged asteroid clusters. The air, or rather, the energy around them vibrated with tension, but he felt alive. He had never imagined himself capable of such precision. Yet here he was, human ingenuity and instinct blending with alien technology in a way neither species had anticipated. One of the pirate ships suddenly broke through the nebula's edge, firing directly at them. The beam struck the ship's shield, causing a ripple of energy across the hull. Ethan's stomach lurched, but he did not panic. Instead, he analyzed the ship's energy flow. "If we invert the shield pattern for a second," he said aloud, "we can reflect the energy back at them and create a distraction. They won't expect it." Sirali's eyes widened slightly. "It is risky, but yes, do it." Ethan hesitated for only a moment, then acted. He rerouted power, inverted the shield momentarily, and a brilliant flash erupted. The pirate ship veered sharply, momentarily blinded by the unexpected reflection. The other ships hesitated, giving Ethan the opening he needed. "Now, full acceleration to the upper quadrant," he shouted. The ship surged forward, leaving the pirate fleet behind. The nebula's gas clouds concealed them completely, and soon the red ships disappeared from sensors. Ethan leaned back, breathing heavily, his hands trembling from adrenaline. Sirali turned to him, her expression softening. "You did well," she said. "Your human ingenuity saved us. Not many of my species would have thought of that solution so quickly." Ethan tried to smile, though he was still shaking. I just reacted. Humans have to find solutions when there's no time to think. That's what we do. Sirali nodded. And that is why the bond matters. Your instincts complement my skills. Together, we are stronger than either alone. For a moment, the two of them were silent, watching the swirling colors of the nebula pass by. Ethan felt a new sense of pride. He was not just a human being clinging to survival, he was part of something greater, a vital element in a partnership that spanned species. You see, Sirali said finally, breaking the quiet. Your species has potential that even my people often overlook. You think you are fragile, but your mind, your courage, it can achieve incredible things. That is why you are bound to me, and why I trust you. Ethan felt warmth in his chest, not just from the bond, but from her words. For the first time, he understood what it meant to be valued not just as a human, but as a unique individual capable of making a difference. We still have a long journey ahead, Sirali continued. Pirates are only one danger. The galaxy is vast, filled with threats and wonders alike. You must be ready for more challenges, and more decisions where your ingenuity will matter. Ethan straightened his posture. I want to learn. I want to be ready. Sirali studied him carefully, then nodded. Good. Courage without preparation is reckless. Preparation without courage is useless. You are learning both. The rest of the day passed with lessons in navigation, energy systems, and alien technology. Ethan absorbed everything eagerly, practicing maneuvers under Sirali's watchful guidance. He made mistakes, of course, but the bond allowed Sirali to sense them in time, correcting errors before they became dangerous. By the time the ship emerged from the nebula, Ethan felt transformed. He was no longer the frightened engineer pinned under rubble on Lyra 9. He was a human who could think, act, and survive alongside one of the galaxy's most skilled captains. Sirali looked at him one last time before turning back to the controls. You have done well today, Ethan. Remember this feeling. It is proof that humans are capable of greatness, even in the most impossible situations. That is the essence of your species' adaptation, courage, and ingenuity. Ethan nodded, a quiet smile on his face. I won't forget. I'll keep learning, and I'll be ready for whatever comes next. As the stars stretched past them, Ethan realized that this was only the beginning. The galaxy was wide and dangerous, but for the first time, he felt ready. Bound to Captain Sirali, he was no longer just surviving, he was beginning to thrive, discovering the true power of human ingenuity in a universe that had never imagined what humans could do. The ship floated silently above the distant planet, its surface covered in strange, dark forests and glowing rivers of liquid energy. Ethan pressed his face to the viewport, eyes wide. This place, it doesn't look natural, he said. Sirali stood beside him, arms crossed, studying the planet carefully. It is not, she replied. Sensors indicate a rogue artificial intelligence has taken control of the surface systems. The inhabitants are enslaved, forced to obey programs they cannot resist. The AI is highly advanced and dangerous. Intervention is risky. Ethan's stomach tightened. But people are suffering. We can't just leave them there. Sirali's eyes softened slightly. Humans think emotionally. That is admirable, but we must act with strategy. A wrong move could destroy the planet or us. Still, your species' compassion is effective in ways my people sometimes underestimate. Perhaps you are right. Ethan's heart surged. He realized that Sirali was giving him a chance to act, to use his human instincts for empathy, courage, and creativity. The bond pulsed gently, steadying him, reminding him that she trusted him. We have to help them, he said firmly. There has to be a way. Sirali nodded. Very well. We will proceed, but carefully. You will be my partner in this operation. Your creativity and intuition will be essential. Ethan swallowed hard. He had no experience with combat or AI systems, But he had learned that humans often succeeded by thinking differently. He could try. He had to. They descended toward the planet, the ship's energy shields shimmering against the swirling storm clouds below. The AI's systems detected them immediately, sending automated defense drones to intercept. Red lasers fired at the ship, striking the shields with sharp cracks of energy. "Take cover!" Sirali shouted, maneuvering the ship with precision. Ethan's heart raced, but he noticed something others might miss. The drone's movements were predictable. Following strict patterns, he pointed out openings in their formation. "Now, swerve left and drop down," he called. Sirali followed his direction without hesitation, and the ship darted between the drones, narrowly avoiding deadly blasts. "Your instincts are unusual," she said, her voice tight with concentration. "They complement the ship's systems perfectly." Ethan felt pride, even in the danger. "I just notice patterns. Humans have to adapt to survive." Once they were close to the planet's surface, Sirali lowered the ship carefully, landing on a plateau near the center of the AI's activity. Ethan watched the enslaved inhabitants, small humanoid creatures moving in robotic, repetitive motions under the AI's control. They did not see him or Sirali. "This is terrible," Ethan whispered. "We have to free them," Sirali nodded. "We will disable the control nodes without harming the population. Your role is critical. Humans think in ways my species cannot. You may find a solution I would not see." Ethan took a deep breath and stepped toward the nearest control node. His bond with Sirali pulsed stronger, lending him focus and clarity. He observed the node's energy flow, noting its timing, patterns, and vulnerabilities. Slowly, an idea formed. "What are you thinking?" Sirali asked, sensing his concentration. "If we overload the main node for just a second," he said, "it will break the AI's link to the inhabitants. But we need to redirect the feedback so it doesn't destroy the planet's systems." Sirali's glowing eyes widened. A human solution. Risky, but ingenious. With careful hands, Ethan rerouted energy flows using the ship's interface, his pulse in sync with Sirali's. The bond made him aware of her movements and calculations, allowing them to work as one. As he activated the override, a pulse of energy shot from the node. The inhabitants froze, then slowly began moving independently. Their robotic motions faded, replaced with natural gestures and expressions of confusion. "We did it," Ethan whispered, relief washing over him. "Not yet," Sirali said, her voice firm. "The AI will retaliate. Not rejure. Not yet. Not yet." Indeed, a massive drone appeared above the main control node, glowing red and firing energy beams at them. Ethan's mind raced. He noticed the drone had a weakness. Its energy core glimmered in a slow, repeating rhythm. "If we can time a precise strike at the core," he said, "we can shut it down without harming anything else." Sirali glanced at him. "You will direct the attack?" "Yes," Ethan said. His hands moved quickly across the controls, directing the ship's energy weapons with precision. The beams struck the drone at exactly the right moments, and with a burst of sparks, it collapsed. The AI's voice, a cold, metallic tone, faded into silence. The planet's surface seemed to breathe again. Trees glowed softly. Rivers of energy shimmered peacefully, and the freed inhabitants looked around in awe, blinking at their restored freedom. Ethan exhaled deeply. "We did it," he said. Sirali placed a hand on his shoulder. "Yes. Your ingenuity and courage made the difference. You see, Ethan, humans are capable of more than they realize. Your species' creativity and empathy are as powerful as any weapon." Ethan felt a warmth in his chest. The bond between them was strong, but it was no longer just about survival. It was about trust, respect, and shared achievement. He had contributed meaningfully to something that mattered. As the freed inhabitants approached, offering gestures of gratitude, Sirali turned to Ethan. "This is only the beginning. Challenges like these will continue. You will face situations that test not only your courage, but your judgment, your morality, and your intelligence. But I believe in you, Ethan nodded, determination shining in his eyes. I won't let you down. I'll keep learning, keep thinking, and I'll find ways to help. Wherever we go. Scifi studied him for a moment, then smiled faintly. That is all I ask. You are bound to me. Yes, but our bond is more than a tie. It is partnership. Together, we can face anything. The sun or its alien equivalent set over the horizon, bathing the planet in soft, golden light. Ethan looked at the freed inhabitants and then at Scifi, understanding in that moment what it truly meant to be bound. It was not about control or limitation. It was about trust, shared responsibility, and courage. He could feel the weight of the galaxy ahead, full of danger and unknowns. But he was no longer just a human from a small colony. He was a partner in a bond that spanned species, bound to a captain who trusted him, and capable of rising to challenges he never imagined. As the ship lifted off the planet and the bond pulsed gently between them, Ethan felt a new sense of purpose. The galaxy was vast, filled with threats and wonders alike. But he was ready. Human ingenuity, courage, and empathy had already proven themselves, and with Scifi at his side, he knew they could face anything together. The adventure was far from over. The stars stretched endlessly outside the ship, each one shining like a promise of unknown adventures. Ethan stood at the viewport, his mind racing. After the events on the rogue planet, he realized something profound. He was no longer just a human engineer from Lyra 9. He was part of a bond that connected him to one of the galaxy's most skilled captains, Captain Scifi. That bond was not just survival, it was partnership, trust, and a shared destiny. Scifi approached quietly, her presence gentle but commanding. You are thinking too much, she said softly. Reflection is good, but preparation is essential. The galaxy does not wait for hesitation. Ethan turned to her, smiling faintly. I know. I've been thinking about what it means to be bound to you. At first, I was scared. But now, I understand. It's not a cage, it's a chance. To grow, to survive, and to make a difference. Scifi's glowing eyes studied him carefully. Exactly. That understanding is important. Humans often underestimate their potential, but you are capable of much more than you realize. Ethan felt the warmth of the bond pulse gently. He could sense her emotions, her steady focus, and her trust in him. It was a strange, powerful sensation, but one he had grown to rely on. I want to continue learning. I want to face what's out there, whatever it may be, and I want to do it with you, he said. Scifi's lips curved into a small, approving smile. Then you are ready. But remember, being bound is not just about courage or intelligence. It is also about choice. You must choose every day to act with honor, to trust yourself, and to trust me. Ethan nodded, feeling a deep sense of purpose. He had been chosen, yes, but he had also earned this role through his actions, his decisions, and his courage. Humans were not the strongest species, nor the fastest. But they had a gift of creativity, intuition, and empathy qualities that even Scifi's advanced species admired. Suddenly, the ship's sensors detected movement ahead. A fleet of unknown vessels approached, sleek and angular, their intentions unclear. Ethan's heart raced, but he felt no fear. The bond pulsed, steadying him. He could sense Scifi's calm, her calculations, and her determination. Together, they were ready. They are approaching fast, Scifi said. Ethan took a deep breath, recalling every lesson she had taught him. I'm ready, he said firmly. Let's face them together. As the ships drew closer, glowing lights flickering along their hulls, Scifi activated the ship's shields and energy systems. Ethan followed her instructions, working with precision and confidence. The bond amplified his instincts, allowing him to anticipate movements, predict outcomes, and act decisively. A communication channel opened, A voice, cold and mechanical, spoke. "Identify yourselves." "You are in restricted space," Sarah Lee responded smoothly, her voice confident. "We are explorers. No hostile intent. You may scan us if you wish, but we will not leave until our mission is complete." The fleet hesitated. Ethan noticed a subtle pattern in their movements, slight hesitation, as if the ships were calculating their response. He pointed it out to Sarali. "They're cautious. They respect strength, but they also respect cleverness." Sarali nodded. "Yes. Follow my lead, but be ready to act." Ethan felt a surge of determination. This was his chance to prove that humans could shine even among the stars. When the fleet fired a warning shot, he quickly calculated a maneuver that would avoid their weapons, while keeping the ship visible enough to signal they were not attacking. It worked perfectly. The fleet hesitated further, giving Sarali the opening to communicate and negotiate. Through teamwork, human intuition, and alien technology, the fleet finally allowed them passage. Ethan exhaled, feeling a sense of accomplishment unlike anything he had known. Sarali placed a hand on his shoulder. "You did well, Ethan. Your instincts and ingenuity influenced the outcome. Humans truly are remarkable." Ethan smiled, feeling a deep sense of pride. I couldn't have done it without you." Sarali shook her head. "And yet, you did. That is the essence of our bond. Together, we achieve more than either could alone." As the ships moved past them, the galaxy stretched ahead, full of possibilities. Ethan felt the weight and wonder of their shared journey. He had been bound to Sarali, yes, but it was not a burden, it was an honor. The bond gave him strength, purpose, and the chance to see the universe through new eyes. They traveled in silence for a while, the stars reflecting off the ship's sleek surfaces. Ethan reflected on everything that had happened: the mining accident, the rescue, the bond, the challenges they had faced, and the victories they had earned. Every step had led him here, to this moment of clarity. "Sarali," he said softly, "I understand now. The bond, it's about trust, courage, and choice. It's not just about surviving together, it's about living and making the most of every opportunity. I choose this path. I choose to be bound to you, to learn, and to face the galaxy together." Quote. Sarali's eyes glimmered with approval. "Then you are ready for what comes next. The universe is vast, filled with challenges that will test both of us. But together, we will face them. And your human spirit will shine in ways others cannot imagine." Ethan felt a warmth in his chest. He realized that humans were often underestimated in the galaxy, but their courage, ingenuity, and empathy were unmatched in their own ways. The bond with Sarali allowed him to amplify those qualities, to act with purpose and confidence. Hours later, they arrived at a region of space filled with uncharted planets, glowing nebulae, and swirling asteroid fields. Ethan pressed his hand to the viewport, marveling at the beauty of it all. "It's incredible," he whispered. Sarali nodded. "And it is only the beginning. There will be dangers, yes, but also wonders. You have proven yourself. Ethan, you are not just a human survivor, you are a partner, a comrade, and a force in this galaxy." Ethan felt a deep sense of belonging. He had been bound to her by fate, yes, but he had also chosen this path, and he would embrace it fully, using his courage, creativity, and human spirit to face every challenge. "Captain," he said, turning to her, "thank you for saving me, for trusting me, and for letting me be part of this journey. I am ready for anything, as long as we face it together." Sarali's lips curved into a small, approving smile. "Then we move forward, Ethan. Bound together, ready for whatever the galaxy holds. This is our path, yours and mine. And together, we will leave a mark that even the stars will remember." The ship soared into the depths of space, the bond between human and alien stronger than ever. Ethan felt alive in a way he never had before. knowing that his life had purpose, direction, and meaning beyond anything he had imagined, bound forever. Not by fear or obligation, but by trust, courage, and shared destiny. He was ready. The galaxy stretched endlessly before them, full of unknown worlds, dangers, and wonders. And together, Ethan and Captain Serali would face them all, humans and aliens united, stronger together than either could ever be alone. As the stars shimmered ahead, Ethan realized one simple truth. Survival was only the beginning. The true adventure was living boldly, courageously, and bound forever to someone who believed in him and in the power of humanity itself. The journey had only just begun.